Hi. So this is going to be a video, maybe a 4-part video, at least that's the intention, about resonating. And resonating is let's call it a technique. Actually, ultimately, it will not be a technique. It will just be um, what is. It's just going to be the bare experience of knowing what is, which is always happening anyway. Um, but it's going to start by using a kind of technique, using words to go beyond words, using words skillfully to point us to a direct experience of ourself, of what we are, of what this is. So instead of having an idea about what this is, like what you are told you are, like you're a human and you're this gender and you're this whatever race, and these are the good things and bad things, and this is the world, and those are trees, and that's the sky. And instead of being told what everything is, you will start to directly taste what everything is. You will, instead of the concept, you will have the experience of what everything is, including yourself. um, and this is, even if it may not be interesting to you to know what you are or to know what everything is, it is also very beneficial, actually pretty much essential to happiness, to well-being, to having a resource that is always there, it's reliable, it's trustable, because it actually is the resource. It is the source. It is the only resource, the only source. So whether or not you're particularly interested in kind of that realization aspect of like, what am I, what is this, and coming into the truth of what you are and what is here, um, or it's more about, I'd like to feel better or be able to move better or be able to engage better or feel safe, feel okay. Can work on all of these levels. And also, this is really good for those of us who are on the, feel like we're moving towards realization, awakening, and for those of us who have experienced opening or realization or awakening, and are working with, kind of living with it and recognizing it moment to moment, and having it live through us, having, the flow of life move through you, which obviously is always happening because this is all life, isn't it? So it can work at different phases. And the idea of this is to basically use the words to go, at some point, to start to let go of the words and resonate more directly. So, for instance, the word resonate. What does that elicit in your sensing? What do you sense? That word kind of resonating. Right, there's kind of, you're basically, your system starts to feel into, resonate with what's around. It can resonate with sounds, you can resonate with the environment. It's kind of like feeling and vibrating with the what's around. That's maybe what you could say it is, but you can actually feel it. You can feel what resonance is like. And that's kind of the premise of resonating in this technique. It is that this body system has been very, very trained to experience words, like feel words. So, for instance, if I say a word like space, spacious, you notice how the body actually feels or recognizes, both, through feeling, through maybe kind of like an image, through kind of sensing into it, senses space just by saying the word. And if I say a word like stress, stressful, then that too creates, the body kind of feels that all of a sudden. It feels I guess here it was a kind of tightening in the stomach, kind of clenching, a bracing, right? And let's go back to some words that are more pleasant for people, like love, love, safety, so as you can see, the body it actually kind of translates words into experience, right? And it kind of seeks out those experiences. So you can imagine, since most humans move around this world with thought all day long, thousands and thousands of words hitting the body system, and the body is constantly feeling all of these, not only words, but whole kind of sentences or idea structures, like, those people shouldn't be doing that. And that body feels that, because the body believes it is, it thinks the mind is its kind of guru or its master, it's, the one who's looking out for it. So it feels that, which is tense. And then, but if the mind says something like, everyone here likes me, then the body goes, So words totally impact the system, and they're going on all day long, and that's what's happening all around you. So it's actually pretty fascinating to understand that, people are resonating with their thoughts. Now, what we want to do is use thoughts to resonate with what's actually here, not with some sort of concept, but with what's actually here. So we're going to go through three. We're going to go from basically most visceral or tactile or gross, not yucky gross, but like gross to subtle. And we're going to move more and more subtle into the experience of what we are, what reality is, what all of this is. So obviously the most gross or the least subtle is form, right? Like these hands, like the trees, like sounds, right? Like thoughts. Thoughts are very easy to perceive, right? You can right now in your mind say the word tree, and you hear it. It's perceivable. You can have the image of someone's face that you know, and it's perceivable, right? So we're gonna move past those because these are all things that come and go. And what we're looking for is what's always here, what's unchanging, what can't be lost. So, for instance, something that anyone can tap into is, you could say, you're here. What's it like to say, I am here? And resonate with that, feel into that, sense into here. Or you could say, I exist. I exist. Or you could say, I'm aware. Clearly you're aware. So like to feel into that, I'm aware. Now, I'm going to go into, I'm going to call the three domains presence, which will be the most gross, awareness, which is more subtle, and then source, which will be the, it's so subtle that it's, it's essentially unfindable, but there can be still a resonance, a recognition in a sort of way. And what you can do with this is you can take any of these words and you can just, it's often useful to say I am, because we're looking into the nature of ourselves. And you can say things, any of these words that come up for any of these zones. So for instance, in presence, there will be the word, I am presence, right? I am presence. And you just feel how that lands, how that resonates. And as a more particular technique, I like to do an 8-breath sequence. So the video cut out, I was saying that there is an 8-breath sequence that people like to use, that I find effective. You could use it as you're walking around if you don't want to be lost in your mind, but you actually want to be exploring. You can use it as all throughout the day, and you can also use it kind of as a pre-meditation focusing. During meditation, you can go through this sequence of breaths and words, a few times. You can go through each level, or you can just do one level, or you could do levellessness. And how it works is there are 8 breaths, and on each out breath, we're going to say a word. The first 2 words are always I am. And we're going to resonate with those words. I am. And then there are going to be 4 words that work for those levels that we're going to go through. Presence, awareness, and source. And again, if you don't want to kind of differentiate into levels, because it is kind of, we are kind of breaking apart things that are not actually apart. It can just be 4 words that are working for you at that time. So I am, and then these 4 words on each out breath, and then the last 2 breaths are silent. There's no word, and that is for you to resonate wordlessly, because that's where this is all kind of going, is just a resonance that is beyond words, because the words never quite capture it. And really don't capture it. They just really don't capture it. It's a much more direct experience. Like if you taste a grape, the grape taste can be described in words, but that's not really the grape taste. It's not going to ever be sufficient. You got to taste a grape to know what a grape tastes like. So that's the sequence, and we will go to presence next.